Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
This is probably our largest dog cruelty case and a single impound that we have had here.
Now on News 6, a big dog fighting ring broken up in one local county. What's being done now to close to 30 dogs, some as young as 10 weeks old?
Wrestling legend and Florida resident Hulk Hogan has died. How fans are paying tribute at his store on iDrive.
And could Sunrail start rolling on the weekends? We're breaking down just what it could cost taxpayers.
But we start now at 10 tonight by hopping aboard a first-of-its-kind bus in Central Florida. A rolling shelter for homeless people, and it could be coming to your area. They are being billed as one way to help governments and nonprofits meet the requirements of the state's new law banning camping in public. I'm Ginger Gadsden. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad you're with us. I'm Matt Austin. That law requires local services to house the homeless, but people fight to keep shelters out. Only News 6 was there as the first of at least 6 buses planned for Central Florida arrived at Matthews Hope in Brevard County. Each one offers 20 beds on wheels. News 6's Troy Campbell got a tour.
So right now we're on board the bus that will sleep up to 20 people each night. If you take a look, you can see each bunk has its own charging port and air conditioning vent, all to get a restful night's sleep off the streets. What was your thoughts when you saw this in person for the first time?
Well, this has been being built down the street, so I pass that area probably daily, and I've made it a point not to go look.
After months of planning, Matthews Hope founder Scott Ballou says he's thrilled to see the bus for the first time.
They saw inside already. I haven't. I got to look inside.
I'm excited, man.
Oh my God. It's what we pictured. It's what we drew.
Ballou says the bus will allow for 3-night reservations. The bus will pick people up and then drop them off at the same location in the morning. What are you hoping are some of the positive impacts of this?
Well, first off, I'm hoping that we can bring attention to the crisis at hand, because I don't think people understand the full crisis that's taking place.
Ballou says the first bus costs about $200,000, with 2 more to follow in Brevard County.
Not here is not an answer, okay? And I'm tired of everybody saying not here, because that doesn't solve anything. This is not going to solve homelessness, but what it is going to do is give a stepstone to these people being able to go back to work, get a night's sleep on occasion.
Matthews Hope says it's currently helping about 2,000 people with services in Brevard. Why is it so important that we are compassionate towards homeless?
You'd be surprised how soon you can be there yourself. Some people's attitude is, well, they made their bed, let them sleep in it. These people did nothing to make that bed. They had a spouse die. They had a child pass away.
Matthews Hope says they plan to do some more work on this bus, but they do hope to have it operational by September, with 2 other buses following. In Cocoa, I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Also new at 10 tonight, the White House is now weighing in on the struggle to solve a growing problem of homelessness nationwide.
In just the past few hours, President Trump signed a release, a new order, an executive order that is sure to raise some eyebrows. It's titled Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets, and points out a record 274,000 Americans were counted living on the streets in one single night last year. The first line claims, quote, endemic vagrancy, disorderly behavior, sudden confrontations, and violent attacks have made our cities unsafe.
It goes on to say, quote, the overwhelming majority of these individuals are addicted to drugs, have a mental health condition, or both. It also says 2/3 use heavy drugs, though the White House does not say where it got those statistics. The executive order calls for overturning court decisions to make it easier to commit people with mental illness and substance abuse. It calls for tighter enforcement of urban camping bans like the ones in Florida that allow people to sue local governments.
The order wants to end housing first policies. That's when people are given places to live before being treated for addiction or mental illness. It also wants federal funds to pay for programs that exclusively shelter women and children and not men. We're asking local homeless advocates groups that help the homeless and legal experts to weigh in on just what that order really means for our area. We expect to hear back from them tomorrow. And as they weigh in, we will update this story on the homepage of clickorlando.com. Right now, you can already find the full 7-page text so you can read the order for yourself.
Tonight, Lake County deputies are asking people to come forward with any information. Investigators say they broke up a dogfighting operation this week and hope you can provide more details on the operation and about the man who is now in jail. His name is 48-year-old Jason Bigger. He's facing more than 50 charges related to animal cruelty and baiting and fighting animals. News 6's Mike Valenti went to the home on 3rd Avenue. Lake County investigators and a SWAT team swarmed it this week.
This is the property that SWAT team members pulled up to early Wednesday morning. The front yard clearly unkempt. You could see cages scattered about. And when the operation was done, 29 dogs had been rescued.
They were tethered individually with heavy loggings, and they were also in makeshift kennels, which made it very difficult for them to move around. They did not have any clean water or adequate shelter to protect them from the elements outside.
Lake County Sheriff Deputy Stephanie Early says most of the dogs had scarring consistent with dog fighting, and they were in various stages of healing.
This is probably our largest dog cruelty case and a single impound that we have had here.
Whitney Boylston and her staff at the Lake County Animal Shelter had their hands full Wednesday as they oversaw the intake process for all 29 dogs, seen here in video shared with us from the county. Boylston says the dogs, pit bull mixes ranging from 10 weeks to 10 years old, are doing well.
We were pleasantly surprised temperament-wise. We had a lot of tail wags and kisses. The dogs were very welcoming of affection.
And she expects them to all make a full recovery. But since they're a part of an active criminal investigation, the dogs are not available for adoption right now.
Anytime a county shelter that is operating at or near capacity takes in that many animals, it really does strain resources.
Underscoring the need for people to foster or adopt the pups that have been here for some time. The shelter now has 171 dogs, and the more that can be adopted, the better equipped the staff are to tend to the ones just taken from this property, a place that investigators still have questions about. They want it known that if you have information about Jason Bigger's alleged dogfighting, you can contact the sheriff's office at 352-343-2101. In Lake County, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Investigators in Brevard County say 2 people killed last night were shot by their own grandson. Those shots were fired just after 8 last night on Washington Street near Milwaukee Avenue in the West Melbourne area. The Brevard Sheriff's Office arrested 22-year-old Jeremiah Campbell for the murders of George and Mary White. George ran to a neighbor's house for help after Mary was shot. That's when another round of gunfire hit and killed George, wounded a neighbor. We hear the neighbor's going to be okay, but people living here are shaken up.
He could have run into my yard. He ran too close to home. It's just a shame. Unbelievable.
Campbell is currently being held for second-degree murder and attempted murder charges. Those could be upgraded. He's being held without bond.
Police call it a freak accident in Brevard County. A 1-year-old fell out of a 3rd-floor window around 9:30 this morning. Fortunately, that little boy lived. This is video of the Health First helicopter that took the toddler to the hospital after the 30 or 40-foot fall. This happened at the Southgate Apartments in Rockledge. Someone opened the window to let fresh air in. Fortunately, police say the little boy landed in the grass. A woman who lives just across the hallway told News 6 the child fell through a screen.
It's really devastating to hear about that. I'm so sorry for the family, and I hope the kid's going to be okay. I have my own kid. I mean, granted, I'm on the 1st floor, but she hangs out by the window. I've never had that, so I just pray for them and hope that everything works out for them.
As soon as we get an update on how that little boy is doing, we will update the story on clickorlando.com.
Well, he was a larger-than-life personality, even bigger than his 6'7" frame. Wrestling fans here and worldwide are remembering Hulk Hogan tonight. A man many say took wrestling to new heights of popularity in the 80s. Clearwater police say Terry Hulk Hogan Balea suffered a medical emergency at his home this morning. He later died at the hospital at the age of 71. In Central Florida all day, people have been coming to pay their respects at Hulk Hogan's store on I-Drive. Community correspondent Jarrell Baker says they had to close early.
RIP always plus free. ever, true wrestling legend, Hulk Hogan.
The Moloch family and dozens of others came here to Hulk Hogan's wrestling shop on I-Drive to honor his legacy. You guys were on your way to Clearwater, but then you stopped by to come to this store to drop off that card. Why'd you all decide to do that?
Out of respect for the family, and my son, bought him Hulk Hogan figurine, and he's had it in the back car since we've been traveling, so we just want to pay respect to the family.
The 71-year-old Hulkster died at a hospital Thursday in Clearwater after suffering cardiac arrest.
After hearing Ric Flair cancer-free, and then I refreshed, and then I seen where somebody posted he died. That shook me for a second.
Antonio Reyes Jr. says that this store holds several special memories for him and his family.
Me and my wife got married, and immediately after we got married, we came straight here to buy a couple things before we went on our honeymoon.
More fans also showing up, saying that the wrestling star defined their childhood.
Hulk Hogan was one of the first people that shaped my whole love for wrestling, and it's sad to see him go.
I just think Hulk Hogan is just iconic.
I wanted to cry. That was my icon as growing up as a kid.
The owners of the store declined to comment and closed the store after learning about his death. Many fans say the pain is unbearable.
It's going to be a sad day for the rest of my life right now.
That was Jarrell Baker reporting. We're posting some more remembrances of Hulk Hogan on clickorlando.com.
And another big story tonight is the weather. Meteorologist Jonathan Kega says we are nearing records no one wants to break.
Yeah, at least once we get to the weekend anyway. We're going to be watching high pressures settle in, and that's going to keep our storm chances low for the weekend and raise the temperatures by a lot. We're going to pinpoint just how hot it gets in a few minutes.
This is not a mission that Marines want or that Marines are trained for.
As ice raids pick up in Central Florida, a group of local veterans sharing their concern. Next, why they say it goes against American values.
Well, ever since Sunrail started, pretty much everyone said it needs to run on weekends to succeed. Well, it could finally happen, but at what cost to taxpayers? We're breaking it down. You're watching News 6 at 10. Live on a Thursday night covering Claremont, Daytona Beach shores, and all of Central Florida. Right now on News 6, U.S. Northern Command says 200 Marines have been deployed to Florida to support the ICE immigration crackdown.
Tonight, some local veterans are speaking out against what they call dangerous misuse of military on U.S. soil. They shared their views with News 6's Alex Cook.
We're not supposed to be doing domestic law enforcement against Americans.
Alexander McCoy served in the Marines for 6 years as an embassy guard. He was disturbed by the news that 200 Marines were sent to Florida to support ICE.
The U.S. military is for fighting America's enemies. And if we're using it here in the United States, the implication is that Americans are enemies.
So he drafted this open letter, reading in part, "We swore an oath to the Constitution, and the law makes clear what the U.S. military is for and not for. Using Marines to participate in ICE operations on U.S. soil dishonors that oath." And he invited fellow veterans to sign.
Since McCoy sent this letter out a few days ago, over 200 veterans have signed so far, like his fellow Marine, Doug Jackson, an infantryman who deployed to Iraq in 2007.
Marines train for war, or they're going to war. And so this is not a mission that Marines want or that Marines are trained for. It's fundamentally against really who this country is and who we're supposed to be.
McCoy says he feels it's his duty as a veteran to speak for active duty troops who aren't allowed to express their own political opinions.
It's our job to be their voice and to, express what we would have felt when we were serving if we got put in this terrible situation.
The open letter now posted on flvetsletter.com with an invitation for veterans who agree to sign. In Orlando, Alex Cook, News 6.
Also tonight, more people are riding Sunrail, but still not on the weekends. That's because trains aren't normally running then.
So right now, it's run for special events on Saturday or Sunday, but that could change. News 6's Catherine Silver was there as Sunrail leaders weighed what it would cost and how many people would hop on board.
Sunrail is looking at ways to expand service to weekends, but everything comes with a cost, and now we know just how much. If Sunrail ran on Saturdays and Sundays, it would take about $26 million just to operate and maintain. On top of that, they would need a whole new staff and 3 more trains to get passengers where they need to go. The cost to buy those locomotives and cab cars alone is around $61 million. It would be cheaper if they lease or only run service on Saturdays, but there are different drawbacks to both of those options. So the next question is, are there enough people who would take the train to justify that cost? They can make estimates based on service they've run for events before, most recently during the FIFA Club World Cup match and 4th of July. They believe ridership could be anywhere from 4,600 to 9,500 in a weekend.
Is there enough demand for it? We believe that there is demand.
Amy Lockhart is the chair of the Central Florida Commuter Rail Commission.
We're doing the best that we can to look at all of the options to make it a possibility. It certainly isn't going to be overnight, and it won't be without cost, but we hear them loud and clear that that's what they want.
With plans to connect Sunrail to the airport in Orlando and the attractions still on track, Lockhart says running trains on nights and weekends will be essential for the Sunshine Corridor.
When I'm riding the trains or talking to folks, they believe that the train would be much more useful for them to be able to ride on the weekends. They work 9 to 5 somewhere. They want to be able to take the train on the weekends with their family to enjoy other parts of the region.
So what happens next? This board meeting was simply informational. The board would have to give more direction in the future for anything to become concrete. They decided to set another workshop. In Orlando, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
It's a lot of money. I think there would be a lot of interest in people using those on the weekends, but it's
one person
hard to
right
tell.
here at the desk would use it on the
You would
weekend.
jump on it?
Yeah.
Well, tonight, President Trump has signed a new law that cancels about $8 billion of funding for foreign aid and about $1.1 billion earmarked for public broadcasting.
Facing big budget cuts, Central Florida's public radio and TV stations are asking for the community to show their support. First, Central Florida Public Media is our local national public radio affiliate. They run 90.7 WMFE in Orlando and 89.5 WMFV out of the Villages. Their fundraising event runs on air tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
WUCF is Central Florida's PBS station. On their fundraising campaign, it's set to wrap up tomorrow. They say so far they've taken in more than $100,000 in donations, and they hope to have another $50,000 by then. If you're interested in helping them out, we have links inside the story on the homepage of clickorlando.com.
Okay, we have been talking about what's going to happen this weekend. No one's really looking for it. We always look forward to the weekend. But when you hear the temperatures that meteorologist Jonathan Kagis has been telling us are on the way for all week, and he was right last weekend
I'd
about it.
rather have
it
a
was,
rainy weekend than a
Boom,
blazing
right there,
hot
that part.
weekend, because then
That
you have
part.
to sit in there and chew up your air conditioning the
There
whole
you go.
time. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagis joining us. That's what's going to happen, though, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to get temperatures back to the upper 90s. I think a degree or two hotter than where we were last weekend. Here's the deal. Storm system that helped to enhance our rainfall. It's not pushing across the North Gulf Coast. We also have high pressure building at the surface. That's going to keep our breeze out of the south and east. So any storm that gets going tomorrow is going to have that same motion as today, working its way across the Florida peninsula. Not expecting as many thunderstorms tomorrow either. That's going to be the sort of decline of our thunderstorms and rise of our air temperatures. They're 6 to 7 o'clock on your Friday morning. We're starting things off dry. Lots of sunshine, I think, for the first half of the day. And then once we get into the early afternoon, we're going to bubble up a few scattered thunderstorms, mainly in the same deal that we did today, mainly west of I-95 and then blowing through the I-4 corridor and then closer to I-75 through the evening. There you see it. Some of these could linger through about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night before we start to wind things down for not a totally dry weekend if you're moving around Central Florida, but it's going to be few and far between to get those storm chances on the higher side. 82 right now in Orlando. We're at 79 in Leesburg. Good evening in Daytona Beach. We are at 82 degrees. Tomorrow morning, we're starting things off in the mid to upper 70s. Rain chances super low to start. Those will increase just slightly tomorrow afternoon to 40%. We're back to the middle 90s again inland, right around 90 degrees right along the coast. Heading to the theme parks, there's not going to be a ton of dodging to do. Just watch out closer to dinner time, late into the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. That's going to be our best shot for a few storms to be around the attractions area tomorrow. Slight opportunity for a storm by 7 o'clock. By that point, I think most of us, or at least in the southwest Orange County attractions area, going to start to dry out and really be on the drier side for the weekend, and then let the heat settle in. High temperatures on Friday, tomorrow back to the mid-90s. On Saturday, we're into the upper 90s, staying in the upper 90s all the way through Monday, and we're going to be closing in on records for those days as well, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, at least in the ballpark, likely missing them by a degree or two as we go over that 3-day stretch. Tropical front, we're looking okay right now. A few waves out there. These guys right here, there's hardly any kind of shower activity with them. The air is super dry. Just that one highlight right there on the west side of the Gulf, still only about 10%. It's likely going to run out of time before it moves into Texas as a weak just ball of moisture, if you will. 20% shot for storms on Saturday. Same deal on Sunday. We're back to the upper 90s, 98 degrees on Monday. Still staying hot, but at least rain chances go up a little bit, guys, as we get to the early part of next work week.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, she's an American icon and a music legend.
Yeah, and many people know Dolly Parton has a passion for helping kids.
So inspiring kids to love to read became my passion.
Ahead at 10, how Dolly's push to send out free books is now celebrating 30 years, and it's helping kids right here in Central Florida.
This year, American icon and music legend Dolly Parton is celebrating 30 years of getting results for kids around the world. I'm News 6 anchor and community correspondent Lisa Bell. In 2023, I told you about several local organizations that partner with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to help fund and distribute books to kids across Central Florida. Now we have an update as those organizations have reached a new chapter.
Well, hi, everybody.
She's known around the world as a singer, songwriter, and musician, but Dolly Parton's lasting legacy just may be in all the books she's placed in the hands of children.
So inspiring kids to love to read became my passion.
Since 1995, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library has distributed more than 280 million books to more than 3 million children.
Of course, I haven't done this alone. The real heroes of our story are the thousands of local partners and organizations who have embraced my dream and made it their own.
Organizations like the Rotary Club of College Park, which this summer distributed its 50,000th book to kids in the community. To put that in perspective, the Rotary's Frank McMillan says it's a stack as tall as the Empire State Building.
I quite frankly feel that the 1,500 lives that we've touched is quite frankly one of the most meaningful things I've done in my life.
And Debbie Weinert, who we also met in 2023 when she launched Triangle Community Alliance in Lake County with just 70 kids enrolled in the program. Today, more than 1,000 children in Lake County are now receiving books once a month.
But when you're involved with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, as early as birth, up to 5, the children can accumulate a personal library of 60 books that they never have to get back.
Ding dong, ding dong. For Orlando mom Marjorie Bernadelle, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
It just gives us an opportunity to sit together in a circle and just go over, the words. Like sometimes they don't understand. Like, Mommy, what does this mean? And it gives me an opportunity to explain it to them.
Volusia, Flagler, and Polk counties also have Dolly Parton partners. They all rely on community donations to fund the program. To see if your kids are eligible for the program or to donate, head to our website, clickorlando.com.
Just a few thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and evening. The heat starts to go up from there. 97 on Saturday, 97 on Sunday, 98 degrees on Monday.
Just put little flames on the weekend.
I'll
just
do that.
Little flames. That's
basically
we're trying to get people.
What's going to happen? Good night.
I appreciate the accuracy.
It's just going to happen.